Coming up on this edition of Philadelphia Eagles Now, thank you so much for rocking with us. The Cowboys gave the Eagles great news this week. Thank you, as always, Jerry Jones. And on the back half of the show, the Eagles brought in 2 edge rushers after the Brandon Graham injury. One to the practice squad, one to the active roster. But could Howie Roseman make another move to bring in another edge rusher? Because there's a name that's floating out there who a lot of you know about. Before we begin, be sure to hit that subscribe button here on Eagles Now for Eagles coverage every single day year-round. Anytime I'm in front of this camera, on this microphone, I want to give you Eagles shows that are informative, insightful, thought-provoking, interesting, where you have a voice. So hit that sub button. And since we're talking about the Cowboys today, we are approaching 100,000 subscribers. Once we get there, we're getting that silver plaque from YouTube. Let's catch up to the Cowboys report. They've been in existence longer than us. 202,000+ subscribers, led by the fearless Tom Downey. Hit that sub button right now and lock us in. So this week on the radio, Jerry Jones was asked about his head coach, Mike McCarthy, who's on an expiring contract, and whether or not he could earn his way to a new contract and be the head coach in 2025 and beyond after the Cowboys upset the Washington Commanders on the road. And Jerry Jones said, quote, "It's not that crazy. It could happen." Here's what Jerry said. "I don't think that's crazy at all. That's not crazy. Listen, Mike McCarthy is an outstanding coach. He's been there. He's done that. He's got great ideas. So the bottom line is, in no place in my body language or anything else have you seen an indication about what we're going to be doing relative to this staff at the end of the year. And we shouldn't. We've got a lot of football left." Number one, Jerry Jones thinks that this team can still make the playoffs. Jerry, I hope to tell you it's over. Number two, if he brings back Mike McCarthy, how hilarious would that be? You have a pool of some really good coaching candidates who could be available to you this upcoming offseason. Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Mike Vrabel is a really good coach. Bill Belichick could be available. If Jerry Jones wants to go with the splash move like he did with Jimmy Johnson and poach away a college coach, he did that with Jimmy from Miami. He could go Deion Sanders and take him away and pluck him away from Boulder, Colorado. A lot of different avenues in which Jerry could go, and those avenues, I think, are better than Mike McCarthy. And Jerry Jones, for the reasons that we're talking about here, never ceases to amaze me. He really thought that this roster was good enough to win a Super Bowl this year. They really didn't make any changes or moves in NFL free agency. They didn't get better at all. And Jerry thought, oh, yeah, we can compete for a Super Bowl after they got embarrassed in the playoffs last year by Green Bay at home. But this offseason, they lost their defensive coordinator. Dan Quinn left, took the Commander's job. They brought in Ezekiel Elliott, who is cooked, not even in the running back rotation. They benched him a few weeks ago, and they have no running back. Rico Dowdle is their number one. They have no wide receiver 2, no wide receiver 3, and they lost critical pieces to their offensive line, and their 2 biggest free agent acquisitions, Eric Kendricks and Ezekiel Elliott. And Jerry thought that they could contend. And then he really paid Dak Prescott $60 million per year on the largest contract in the history of the National Football League for any player and any quarterback. I would have had Dak play on the final year of his deal and see if he could lift this team to shoot an NFC Championship game for the first time in 30 years. And that Dak deal has not even kicked in. And he's out for the rest of the year because he tore the hamstring off his bone. And now Dak's becoming a little bit injury prone. And as they've paid him, they become too Dak reliant. And as they've been Dak reliant, with him throwing the football way too much, they've ignored the running game, and they've become worse as an offense over the last couple of years. Jerry also thought that bringing Mike McCarthy back as a lame duck head coach, given that embarrassing playoff loss last year, on the final year of his contract, wouldn't be an issue. It is never a good idea to bring a coach back who's a lame duck head coach, because that just causes drama, speculation about what your coaching moves are going to be beyond the final year of that contract, especially if the team starts losing ball games in an ugly fashion, and that's what's happened with the Cowboys here in 2024. And now that Dallas goes on the road and they upset a Commanders team, which has been struggling over the last few weeks, Jerry's thinking about Mike McCarthy coming back, and McCarthy with that win may have saved his job. For all Eagles fans out there, we should all be getting a prayer circle together, and we should all be hoping during this holiday season that Jerry and the Cowboys bring Mike McCarthy back, because that would be an advantage to the Philadelphia Eagles. His offense does nothing special. He is a terrible game management coach. He hasn't won a big-time playoff game in a very long time. Did he win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers? Yes, he did. All the way back in, what was that, 2010? It's a decade and a half ago. And so I hope that Jerry does bring Mike McCarthy back, because that means that the Eagles can continue to have success in this division. If you hate the Cowboys, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video and type F Dallas down in the chat. As for Saquon Barkley, he's having a great year. You can get your Saquon Barkley jerseys. Segment number 2 or topic number 2 on this show. Will the Eagles sign another pass rusher? That's coming up just around the corner. As for those Saquon jerseys, get them right now. Chatsports.com/Saquon jersey. I suggest you plug in that link right now, because with the holiday season quickly approaching, there are some great deals on Eagles jerseys thanks to our friends at Fanatics. So we'll put that link down below in the show notes, and I'll attach it to the pinned comment of today's Philadelphia Eagles. Now, all right, so this week, after the torn triceps for Brandon Graham on Sunday Night Football, the Eagles put him on season-ending IR. He's out for the year. They signed Charles Harris. They added KJ Henry to the practice squad. 2 pass rushers that Philadelphia's added to this team. Could they also add Shaq Barrett, who announced on Tuesday he's coming out of retirement? More on Charles Harris. 2017 first-round pick out of Mizzou by the Miami Dolphins. Good size at 6'3", 250. He has 19.5 sacks in 99 games, 31 of those starts, so a lot of experience at the NFL level. His last 4 years as far as sack totals, 7.5, really solid, followed by 1, 1.5, and 3. If he were on this Eagles team right now, he would be second in pressures now that Brandon Graham is out. So he's had a pretty productive season. The Eagles claiming him off waivers from the Carolina Panthers, and he could be active on Sunday against Baltimore and get some time. As for KJ Henry, he was a 5th-round pick by the Commanders in 2023. Older rookie last year and an older player for how young he is. He'll be 26 years old in January. Had 1.5 sacks as a rookie. And this year, 1 sack combined with Cincinnati and Dallas. So the Commanders, with this new regime, they let him go. They didn't retain him, although he did have a pretty good training camp. And he, too, has some pretty good size at 6'4", 255. Which brings us to Shaquille Barrett. He announced this week that he's coming out of retirement. The Dolphins currently own his contractual rights. So if he wants to sign with another team, he'll have to get the Dolphins' permission in order to leave Miami and sign with another team, and the Dolphins will have to let him go from that contract. Heartbreaking news several months ago when he had to deal with the drowning death of his young daughter. So that probably played a role in his retirement. He seems to be happier and doing better now personally, but obviously that's a tragedy. And a well-known player who a lot of people are familiar with, he had 19.5 sacks with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2019, 59 sacks in 131 total games. He got his start in Denver, 5.5 sacks year 1, followed by 1.5, 4, and 3. The Broncos don't bring him back. He goes to Tampa Bay, first year with the Buccaneers, 19.5 sacks when Todd Bowles was the defensive coordinator. Just missed out on Vic Fangio, did Shaq Barrett with Denver, and then had 8 sacks after that great year, 10 sacks in 2021, 3 sacks in 2022, and in 2023, 4.5 sacks. Solid player, and there's been some chatter that with him coming out of retirement, maybe the Eagles are showing some interest, and he wants to link up with Vic Fangio to replace Brandon Graham. As for BG, huge loss for the Eagles. That can't be understated. He told reporters after the game against the Rams that he tore his triceps. He's out for the year. Nick Sirianni is hoping that he can still travel with the team and serve as a leader. He's a team captain, consummate pro, and just an absolute Philadelphia legend. Just like the Eagles are going to miss his play, they're going to miss his leadership, his expertise, and his experience. 15th year this year at age 36. He's third all-time in sacks in the history of the Eagles behind Reggie White and Trent Cole. Two pretty good ones right there. And against the Rams, it sucks that he got hurt because at 36, he was having an awesome year and an awesome game against the Rams. 3 quarterback hits on Matthew Stafford, 2 TFLs, 1 pass breakup, and a sack. And BG had said prior to this year when he came back on a 1-year contract, this will be my 15th and final season. But then he tore his triceps, and even a few weeks ago, he did not rule out coming back for 2025. This year in 2024 was really good. Great depth piece for Philadelphia. Jalix Hunt, Nolan Smith, they're going to have to step up. And some of these additions might serve a role as well. Overall PFF grade, 78.6. Run defense grade of 80.1. Pass rush grade of 71.8. 3.5 sacks, 20 pressures on 169 pass rush snaps, 13 hurries, and 3 quarterback hits. So I leave you with this. Do the Eagles need to sign another edge rusher? Would you be interested in Shaq Barrett coming to Philadelphia? Let me know in the comments section.